Hi, welcome back to the A&S Way, and we are today back at the model home of the house that we are purchasing.
Woodside Mojave Plan 6.
6, yes. And today we are doing the electrical walkthrough.
Or we have done the electrical
walkthrough. Oh, we have done it now, yeah. So this is another thing in how purchasing a brand new home in the US is very different from the UK, in that you are able to pick your electrical setup, essentially.
Yeah, when they hear, even though it's built by a builder, they call it building my own home, or they say building my own home. And the first few times I heard it, I was like, what are they talking? You're not building your home. The house builder has already designed it. You're not building it. But it is literally like you get the frame and the work, and then you can do whatever you want. You can spend 100 to 300,000 if you want on top of whatever the base, or not. So this is our first experience of designing our home, I would call it, and this is going to be a tour of the electrical stuff. So we thought we'd start outside because some of the stuff is included and you can just leave it like that, but a lot of the stuff is not included. So we'll walk you through the home and we'll show you what is included and then what we've chosen to add on as well.
So the first thing to note is this. So this is the entrance to the house, and the first thing that is included is the light in, what would you call this, like your porch, patio,
entrance area.
Yeah. So that comes included.
And for those who haven't, go and watch our video tour of the Mojave 6 and you'll see it's actually a side entrance. So you'll see out there, you have to walk down the side of the home to get to where the door, so it's not actually street side. So it's a really nice touch.
I quite like that, yeah.
We did see somebody on another video said they don't like that, but I guess
I like it. It's a lot more private. So for me, I really love the side entrance.
So as you mentioned, you get the one can light.
Your doorbell is included. Yeah. You think that's funny?
Something to point out that is not electrical, but we had to do. This door is not standard, it's just a solid door, and we actually ended up optioning, which there's a video coming out soon, a door. So we went for a solid door, but with a rain glass side.
I don't really like the see-through.
Yeah, that's why I didn't opt for it. If you're buying them separately, they're about 2,500, but I think the upgrade charge for this one was about 670, and the upgrade for ours was about 380, which is actually really good. Coming into the entrance, what do we get, Sal?
So the first thing that you do, so you meet, we met Jose today to go through how he does a walkthrough, and he does it through going through each room on its own. So we started here in the hallway first, and he explained that the light above us here is included, plus the electrical outlets that are down here.
Good thing here is, and I would imagine it depends on either the state or the city that you're in. At least in Las Vegas, Nevada, they have a code which is essentially you get an outlet every 4 to 6 feet.
That's brilliant.
Which means you don't actually have to option in, whereas before, old home builders would only give you a couple and you'd have to option in. So here, on every wall, you've got 2, 3, 4.
So we was actually quite prepared to have to say to him, we want another electrical outlet, because we hate when you're trying to plug in your laptop or your phone, or let's say you're doing housework and you're with your Hoover, that you're trying to find the nearest place to plug your items in. So here, so it's great. So this is not standard. So this is the model home, and they have 3 outlets for the lighting, and that was not standard. So we did have a discussion as to
how many we needed,
yes.
And we've opted for 2, breaking the wall up into 3, so we'll go roughly about here and here, same height. I think that was around a few $100 to have that done, and what we'll do then is we will get lights that have 2, so on either side, so we'll actually have 4 lights, just 2 actual outlets.
And you have to be quite clear, because they are going to measure that, so it all go into the document that you sign off. But if you say you want it only like a feet up, as an example,
a
foot up, then you will end up with your lighting.
If you said I want it a feet up, they'd probably look at you strange.
So you do need to be careful and make sure that you're giving him the right measurements, and obviously that will go in the document that you sign off.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
So it is custom to exactly what you tell, and he'll give his advice as to what's best or what he has done before. But if you say I want one at 38 inches, don't know what that is because we work in centimeters here, and I want one at 60, that's how you're going to get it, and your home's going to look silly. But if you've signed off on it, tough luck, you're going to have to pay them to fix it. So we'll go through to what is called the Casita, and it's a Casita because it's actually a completely locked off area of the home. So it's a bedroom. What's this? Wardrobe, built-in wardrobe, and bathroom all as one unit.
So I think the lighting here this is considered a hallway, so I think that was standard.
Yep, that one's standard.
And interestingly, with the bathrooms, the overhead light that you see up there is not standard in any of the bathrooms. The only thing that comes as standard is the light over the mirror, the vanity. So we had to option in that additional light, and then you have to pay extra if you want them to work independently, which is the light switch here. So we paid for the additional light here, plus the option to work them in, switch them on independently.
And we'll do another video which shows you the final costs. But as an example, a single light can range from $90 to $120-ish. The option to switch these off independently, I think, was about 50 additional dollars. Depending on where you are in the home as well, the prices can vary for obvious reasons. We'll show you when we get outside. So what do we have in here, Sal?
So the first thing that really surprised me in American homes, and this actually happened in the first apartment we stayed in, is it's not typical to have lights in your bedroom, not as standard anyway. So you would assume that comes as standard, but no, it doesn't. So what they do is have the electrical outlets so that you can plug a lamp in, but not for the actual lighting to the room. So we had to option in the lights. So the 4 lights that are up on this ceiling are an additional optional, but also, and what's quite common in these, if you live in a hot place like us, to option in a ceiling fan as well. So they do the pre-wire for that. So we've optioned in this room, because we intend it to be our guest room, and we like to be nice to our family and friends who stay with us, a fan and also the 4 lights.
Another quick point on that is the US is opening up in the 8th of November of this year. So that is couple of weeks.
I'll just saying early November for your age.
Which means people can start coming out, and we're not going to be moved in for a long time yet, but when we are moved in, they'll have a nice ceiling fan and some light. And it is no joke that a lot of the homes don't come with lights. They literally, as Lena said, they have a switch that turns on the lamp sockets, which is just bizarre to anybody from the UK. You have lights in every room. The US does not.
The other thing...
Or not the US, it might be a Vegas thing, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. It's the first time I've noticed it anyway. The other thing he mentioned with the bedrooms was if we intended to have a TV set up and whether we wanted cable to the TV, but we explained that we stream, so it's fine. But what they can do with the plug sockets is have them at a higher... So if you know you're going to wall mount, you can have the socket up higher, which I think is really nice if you know you're going to do that. For us, we didn't, because we don't know how we're going to use the room and whether there will be a TV. But there's a plug socket. What do they call this room?
This is called a powder room.
Powder room, that's it.
US, they call it powder room. We call it a downstairs toilet, because that's what it is. But they don't use the word toilet. I think it's quite crass here, so they use either a restroom, which you don't use in a home. So it's called a powder room.
Or water closet.
Oh, water closet is the other. And they only use that if it is a closet. So if you've got a bathroom and then a toilet in the bathroom, but it's in a box with a door, it's called a closet. It's not a room.
So this is the same as the Casita, where it will only come with these lights. So we've optioned in the additional light above, which isn't on at the moment, and also for them to work independently. And we've done that across the home. So we've got both in each bathroom. And next we have the stairwell, and this comes as standard. So there's lighting that goes up, and we'll film that as we go up the stairs later, but that is standard. So we didn't have to option anything.
Outlets, we didn't need to add any on. As we mentioned, there are a lot of outlets. So every corner of the room has multiple outlets. For us, we call them plugs or plug sockets or wall sockets. Yeah. They're called outlets in the US, and actually I agree with them. They are outlets of power. Plug sockets sort of works, but outlets actually probably more correct. In here, you get the pre-wire.
Pre-wire, yeah.
Did you get any of the can lights? I don't think so, because I think we've optioned that on. And rather than go through each one of these, you'll see that there's lots of can lighting. So we've pretty much gone for exactly what they have here, less 2 lights. So we've ended up with a 6 from here all the way to there, and then the standard ones are in there. Now, for 6 of those lights, it's about $600. So there's probably $800 or $1,000 worth of lighting options in here alone.
Which is crazy because you think in a UK home, a lot of that lighting that you get is pretty standard, but here it's not.
I would disagree in here. So in our home, our house, not our home, all of them are our homes. One of the options that we didn't go for, though, we really wanted, just because we couldn't afford it. Most kitchens in the UK, when you're buying a new build, just come with a single pendant light. And if you've got a nice long one like we had, 7 meters, it would have 3 pendant lights. To option in downlighters like this is even more expensive than here, because I think it was either 2,500 or 3,500 to have the downlighters.
So in that sense, I agree, because the upgrade of lighting is not a crazy number.
It's not really high.
It's just sometimes I think things should be standard, like having lights in your bedroom.
Yeah, you're completely right with you should have some form of lighting. If you don't pay for the option, you get no lighting. That's the different thing. Whereas at least in the UK, you'll get pendant lights all the way down.
We went for the option of lighting here, so we can have pendant lighting. You can't have an island without your pendant lighting. It just wouldn't look right. So we've optioned in that, but the other lights in here were part of the standard that you get. So this is Anton's baby.
So the one part that is not standard in the kitchen is the undermount lighting. What you have to bear in mind, though, is when you're looking at this, it looks really nice. The cupboards, as we call them, or cabinets, as they call them, both correct, does not come with this little plinth. So you have to make sure that if you're going to get the undermounted lighting, you pay for the plinth, which is $286 for 3 bits of wood. I guess the carpenter has to come out. But underneath here, you get quite nice strip lighting that's a lot better than the standard stuff that we get home, and has a much better light spread. Can you remember how much you said for that? I think it was quite expensive. It was like $600 or $700.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Again, we'll put this in the video when we get the full price, and it will come through in a few days. We had some back and forth over this. So this backsplash is not standard. Same in the UK, you don't get anything standard. You just get a 4-inch rise, which will be the same as this. So we've optioned quite a nice backsplash.
Yeah, we've optioned that in. So we don't want it spoiled, essentially.
I think it's about $2,000. So I'm looking at this saying, I don't want any of this. Can we option it all out? He said, you can. But then as we went back and forth, he said, what we can also do, though, is we can turn these outlets horizontal, so it's not as obvious, and we can do them in black. Or if you find some outlets you like, send those to us, and if we can buy them in, we'll do it exactly as you want it. So what we're going to probably go for is these horizontal and either brushed black chrome or something similar, so it actually looks like something you might want to look at rather than wrecking a really nice backsplash.
And I have to say, I agree. We went back and forth over having a power strip instead of underneath here. So initially we thought we wouldn't have anything here at all, and then we'll just have the plug sockets. But the good thing about this guy is he does make you think, well, if you're going to have a coffee machine there, you're going to see that lead, whereas obviously if it's just plugged there, you're not going to see that cable. So he made us think, actually, it does make sense. And then he said we could have a different colour.
Yeah. So. And you're right, that's a good point. So as we were going back and forth, we were going to option this out completely, and then you can have power or outlet strips put in up here. They put them at a 45-degree angle, so you don't get to see them, but you can plug all of your stuff in. But like you said, that probably would have been the wrong thing, because all of our stuff would have then had to have trailed the cables. Everything else you see in here is standard, as in the lights above here. The next part is... So
the lighting in the hallway here, so this will be our garage, as I like to call it. But we get that as standard. And then we've got a cupboard here, but we don't need to worry about doing any lighting there. But we could have if we wanted to. Next we have the pantry. So this light is included, but something we've considered is the home we're currently in at the moment, we have quite a few electrical items. We know that the coffee machine is definitely going to go into the main kitchen space, but we don't have as much work surface to put everything out, so we've decided that we'll use our pantry that we'll have now, and therefore we needed an electrical outlets in here. So we've optioned in one at around here, but at this kind of like height here, so we can put something here. And then also one at the top here, because let's say NutriBullet Ninja kind of thing can go up there and won't be confined to that space.
Next up is the yard covered, what they call it, loggia?
Loggia?
I don't know. It's
Covered
a covered patio.
The lighting
As
is
standard, you get the lighting, which is the free canned or recessed lights. You also get one double outlet here, so that's an outdoor specific one, so it's weatherproof. What we decided to add was an additional double socket or outlet at that end and one at that end, as well as 2 pre-wires for fans, because here you really do get the benefit of having the fans. The actual fan unit's only maybe $100–150, but if you didn't put that in to break through, repatch and do the wiring, would way outweigh the actual costs. And I think it's only $125 to do the pre-wire.
Initially I just thought we only want it where we're likely to have our seating area, which I'm thinking will probably be here, but then Anne did point out it's a silly thing to do. You might as well do it, because if you do happen to sit over there or you're working out and you want to use that space,
exactly. For the sake of $125. And then something he pointed out to us, which was quite nice, is here and in Florida you see quite often people will run lights outside, and the way they do that, they put an outlet somewhere up here. So we've gone for one high in the center, and then you can plug your lights in and run it all the way through the house. They can't do any wiring out here yet because
you don't know what you're gonna do.
Made it upstairs. The first thing is, as Selena mentioned, you get the light that up there. You get that light
and the hallway light over there.
Oh, and one light here.
But none of this. So your loft doesn't have any lighting to it. So we've optioned in all 4. And the pre-wire for the ceiling fan as well, which I initially said no.
Yeah, it's silly. We use the one all the time in our bedroom, and it's just nice, especially for me. I prefer having some sort of moving air. I hate the static or stagnant air. And again, for $125, even if you don't put it up there straight away, it might as well be there. So otherwise, you would not have any lights or any fans in here.
Nice.
So you'd be relying, maybe in Vegas you can get away with it because there is a lot of natural light, but the thing that you don't know is what light you're going to get in the position that you're in on the lot. So here you might be saying, oh, there's loads of light. Where we are is a different, so I think we're facing
where the sun rises
north, the opposite. So we might not actually get the same amount of light in, so it's better to get the light package in.
The other thing we did consider here, and we mentioned this about where you're going to position your TV, was whether, so if we were going to wall mount the TV, but most likely we won't, because we have got what do you call it, the TV stand that we've got. So we're most likely going to put it on that, and in any case
there's 2 double sockets.
So
there's another one over here.
We were fine with that. So this is the other bedroom. Again, we debated a little bit on this one, but in the end, I think we just agreed we definitely need lighting. So as normal in the UK, have lights in your bedroom. So we went for that, but we didn't do the pre-wire for the ceiling fan, unfortunately, for whoever stays in this room. No, we're not intending to use it in that way anyway.
We do get to make, so he goes off, spends a couple of days, puts it together, emails it over, and we get to make changes. He suggests strongly that you come back once you've got the plans, re-walk it, and then decide. So if we do decide just put a pre-wire in everywhere, then we can do that at that point. So next up is the shared, I don't know what they call it, is it like a walk-through bathroom?
Is it like a Jack and Jill?
Jack and Jill, that's it. So the Jack and Jill bathroom.
And again, it's the same. So it only comes with that bit one as standard. So we optioned in that, and for the switches to work independently. We didn't have to do anything with the actual bathroom. That comes as standard. We're fine with that as well. The plan is for it to be my office. This is where I was hoping for the super deck and the lovely views out there, but not quite. But this will be my office. I'm not too fussed about the fan because the house has air cons and I don't really use it as much. So I've gone for the 4 lights, and that's it for this room. So this is a laundry room. As standard, it comes with just 1 light. And initially I just thought, oh, we'll just do that. But Anne's like, no, more lights. So we've gone for the 2. So that additional light is an optional extra. The plug sockets are all good. The one thing we did find out, so he explained about the outlets for your washer and dryer. And the dryer is a gas dryer, which I thought is very, very interesting because I've personally never heard of it before.
So I've been reading online, I've been looking up a lot of the appliances, and I keep saying that they're gas fired, but I was thinking, well, how does that actually work then? Surely there's not actually a fire in there. Yes, it's like a pilot light for your boiler, fires up and heats
use natural gas
up. So he said, make sure that when you buy your dryer, you buy a gas dryer, which is not electrical, but it was interesting to find out. You absolutely never have a gas dryer in the UK.
I don't think if he'd said, I wouldn't even think to do that.
Only because I've been looking. The other option is you can have, there's fibre to the street. I don't know what they call it here. We have fibre to the cabinet, so FTTC, and then you can have fibre to premises. Now, we've had all manner. So our first apartment had reasonably good internet, wasn't fibre. Then fibre came, it was great. We then went to a home which had pretty much no internet. It was horrendous because they forgot to run the cables, and then fibre came 2 years later, but that was just fibre to the cabinet. And then our final property had fibre to the premises because it was a high rise. You get 1 gig up, 1 gig down and 1 gig up. It is the perfect internet. In order to have that here, you have to pay an extra $880. So you get the media cabinet, you get 2 Cat 6 points. I can't remember, one to the bedroom, one to the downstairs somewhere. You can have more put in if you want, but that's what it comes with as standard, and they run the fibre into the premises. We'll make a decision on whether we really need that, because fibre to the street is usually more than enough. Usually that'll give you 1 gig down and a couple of hundred up. Do we really need 1 gig each way? Probably not. So for the $880,
I assumed he would say yes. I was quite surprised when he said but I trust Dan on that. Yeah, so I'm just going to go with whatever he thinks is best.
We're currently doing absolutely fine, other than some minor glitches that the whole of Las Vegas seems to get. Right. We're doing fine with we get 100 down and 10 up. And it's been absolutely fine, even for uploading videos. So we're going to get 10x that without having to pay. So it's probably fine. So next up, we are in the master bedroom. What do we get here?
You get the lights. You get the 4 lights included in the master bedroom. So we've gone with that. We haven't, so if you can see here, they've optioned in these 2. We've decided not to because we typically have table lamps in here, and does the pre-wire for the fan come?
Yeah, pre-wire comes.
So actually in this room, you get everything in the master bedroom. Mm-hmm. The one thing we did discuss was the light switches. So something you can do here, and I'm not sure if we mentioned it downstairs, was it comes with, let's say, the standard location of where you turn the lights on, but you can option in to have another light switch by the bed. So initially we was discussing that, but we're thinking we might do a feature wall here, which meant we wasn't sure whether we put it there or on the wall. And then he said, why not just use smart switch. So most likely we'll do that for us, and that'll be more convenient across the house anyway.
There's one thing that comes on the outside, or 2 actually, but they come as standard. So you have coach light and double outdoor socket, which is more than enough for half a deck.
So in the bathroom, your water closet comes in with the light as standard. So that's a standard option. And then in the bathroom, if I remember correctly, it is just those 2.
Mm-hmm. So you get the double vanity, which is the pre-wire, and then because you've paid, you get the actual lighting.
And then the 2 above the shower and the bathtub. So that's it in this room. But we have decided to option in the extra light here and the 2 above the vanity. This is a test of how much we can remember. Yeah. Then in the walk-in wardrobe, it only comes with 1 as standard. So we've optioned in a second one because Anton has said more light is better. Yeah. I agree, we're too dark. The other thing that we've done in this room is, and we actually in our home currently, we have an ironing board which we use in the walk-in wardrobe, but then there's no plug socket, so we end up going into the bathroom. So we have optioned in an electrical outlet in this room too.
That is the walkthrough. That's the electrical options that we have picked or been told about. I personally really like the way the Americans do new homes, new construction. I was a little bit dubious at the start because it seemed like they were just making you pay for everything.
Yeah.
But you really do have to kind of overcome that. And what they're trying to do is allow you to build the home in the way that you want it. I think genuinely, obviously it's great for them. They make more money, but everybody's a winner, I think, in this. If you really just need a home, you can just buy it as is. So the price you see plus your lot premium at the moment is what you will pay. If you've got a bit more cash, or you're like, actually, why am I going to spend the next 2 or 3 years cutting holes in my walls, adding lights and doing this? I would rather just have the builder do it. Then you can do that. As we mentioned, you can spend no money or 200,000 even on a property like this, which isn't that huge in the US. So I've come to like the way they do building. I would like a bit of that in the UK.
I've certainly liked the whole process. I love the fact that we could make the selections, the choices we have. I would say it is that you are building the home more to your liking, I'd say.
So hopefully that has been useful and interesting. Make sure you leave a comment. Tell us what you liked, what you found a little bit weird,
And
what you think.
Subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.
Tried to get it in early. And what you think should or shouldn't be included. One of the things I would say that should definitely be included is there should be lights in every room, regardless. That should be standard. But let us know what you think. And as Stina said, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.
Thanks for watching.